Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mina. It is now day 3 of the Summerween readathon, and as I spoke to you guys yesterday, my plans for today are to finally finish my first book of the readathon, which is If You Go Down to the Woods. I have less than 100 pages today, so my goal is to read the rest of this book and not update you until I have it done. And then I also want to start on my second novel, which is Theme Music, which is going to fulfill the paranormal supernatural book that I'm reading this week. So hopefully I can get started on that. I would also like to begin reading my graphic novel, Mooncakes. That is going to be the book that I read in the dark, so I do have to wait until like after 8:30 to read some of it because it doesn't get dark here until after 8:30. So that one I'm going to save until the nighttime. Probably will take me like 2 sittings. It's a pretty thick graphic novel, so maybe I'll read like half of it tonight and then half of it tomorrow night. The other thing that I want to get done today is to finally watch the Fear Street movie on Netflix that came out a couple of days ago. I am looking forward to that. It is the 1994 timeline. So this is a film that's broken up into 3 films. The first part that I'm going to watch today is in 1994, or in the 90s. I don't know if it's exactly 94. And then I believe the one after that takes place in the 70s, and then the third part of the film takes place in like historical, like colonial American times. I'm not exactly sure. It may be like the 1600s or the 1700s. So they all do like intersect in some way, and I'm really excited for it because it looks really creepy, but also has some really nice like retro horror vibes that I'm really excited for. So yeah, that is the plan for today. I'm not really doing anything else, so it's mainly going to be like reading and watching that movie, and I will check in with you guys later with some updates. I'm also sporting my Halloween 1978 t-shirt to commemorate the Summerween spirit this week. So I'll see you guys later when I finally have this first book finished. Hello you guys, it is now later on in the day. It's about 3:30 and I finished reading finally. If You Go Down into the Woods, I finished this about like an hour and a half ago, around like 2 p.m. But I kind of like held off on giving like my initial thoughts because I was very disappointed and kind of frustrated with this book. As you probably could tell, you know, from the past like 2 days of reading it, it was just a letdown for me. And I mean, aside from the fact that there was so much problematic language in this book, I feel like even if the language wasn't a thing, I wouldn't love this book, but I wouldn't be as frustrated with it as I am because of the language choices that the author made. So that being said, I'm finding it hard to kind of rate this because, I mean, like, how do you really rate a book that you just couldn't deal with? There were so many things that like I wasn't crazy about. I'll mention some things that I liked or that I was like okay with, and then some things that really bothered me. Things that I liked, I really liked the summertime setting of this book. I feel like if you are going to pick this up, which I mean, I don't really recommend, but if you do decide to pick this book up, reading it during the summer is probably going to be like the best time for you to read this because of that like carefree hanging out with your friends in the woods around town, like riding your bikes, that kind of vibe, like definitely, you know, makes you feel like you're in summer. And like being in summer right now, it's definitely enjoyable to read those parts of this book. I also really liked, I don't know if I would go as far as to say really, but I also liked the fact that this book pulled a lot of inspiration from the story of It by Stephen King, how there's a group of misfit kids who are coming together to fight off like an evil kind of person or an evil force. I think that that's always a fun premise, and I'm always looking for books that have that same kind of element to them. And I'm gonna be really honest, like I wanted to read a bunch of books that were similar, had a similar vein, style, vibe to this, because I wanted to curate a list of books that I would recommend for people to read if you do like It by Stephen King. The Chalkman definitely is going to be one of them. This was supposed to be one of them, but I don't know if I can like consciously recommend this when I didn't enjoy it and when I had problems with it. And aside from the language, just the story in general did not captivate me. I felt like it didn't feel like a true horror. There were only like some moments within the book where I thought like, okay, that's kind of creepy, that's kind of spooky, but nothing that I would really categorize as being horror. There was definitely some violence. There was definitely like gore and death and murders, things like that. But I felt like this book was more so dealing with crime than it was dealing with horror, if that makes sense. I know that the two can be linked in some ways, but I felt like I was reading a hard case crime type of book, especially for like the middle to end-ish part. It did not feel like horror. And even the first 100 pages did not feel like horror, did not feel like crime, just felt like a bunch of kids hanging out during the summertime. So I don't even know like where I would place this book in terms of genre, because yes, it's marketed as horror, and yes, there are some horror things that happen, but if you're looking for something to really like scare you, this book is not going to do it for you, and that's what I was looking for. I also felt like it was kind of all over the place. As I said, like it felt very crime, it felt very multi-genre, but it kind of also felt like the plot didn't really know what it was trying to do. And it felt very disjointed in a way where like you have one storyline going on, then it completely takes a detour and leads you down a different road, and then in the end, the author tries to pull everything together. It just did not work for me. It kind of felt chaotic and kind of like a mess. And I hate to like give negative reviews. I hate to be like super critical over an author's writing. But I just want to give my honest thoughts. Like, this is how I felt about the book. I definitely was not really enjoying it when I was reading it. And I was finding myself like really forcing myself to get through it and to read it. And especially because of the constant use of the R word in multiple situations. I swear this book used the word retarded or retard about 20 times. 20 times in a 270-page book, and it was completely unnecessary every single time. Not that I ever think there's really like a necessary time to use this word, but it served no purpose other than to show us like how immature the main character is, that he's like using it as like a slang insult, like to be offensive towards his sister, or to like just make fun of like certain situations and certain people. Like, it just really bothered me so much, and I just questioned like who the editors of this book were, with the fact that this book came out, or it was published in 2018, and nobody said anything, and nobody thought that it was not only problematic but also obscenely overused. Like, if it happened once, even like 3 times throughout this whole book, I probably would not be making a big deal about it. But the fact that it literally bordered about 20 times of use in such a short book just pissed me off. It was just completely unnecessary, and every time I saw it, I just like rolled my eyes, and I was just like, are we really gonna use this word again and again and again? Like, I understand that kids can be immature, totally get that, but it doesn't need to be in this book. Like, it really doesn't. We don't need to have a main character that just constantly uses it and refers to everything and everyone as that word. So, I don't know. Problematic language really bothered me. Book itself wasn't my fave, so I think that I would probably rate this about a 2 stars, and probably would not recommend this one. There are probably much better books that are inspired by it and that pull from it, that do a better job than this one. So disappointed in that. I actually like don't even want to read right now. It kind of just put me in like an annoyed reading mood. I do want to start reading theme music today, but I think I'm going to take a break from reading, probably watch the Fear Street movie in a little bit. I have to wash my hair, so I'll do that first. clean up around here a little bit, probably watch Fear Street, and then maybe towards the evening before dinner I'll start reading theme music. So yeah, that's my update. I will check in with you guys later. Okay, I'm about to randomly choose the winner of the giveaway that I did on Instagram for a copy of Survive the Night. I have, I think, 89 entries. Yeah, 89, and then I'm going to do like a random generator. This is not the winner, this was like already there. So I'm gonna press generate and then see who I get. Okay, we are back from a little Target run. I am about to watch Fear Street Part 1. Got a plate of chips. Also got my seltzer water. I'm ready for slasher vibes. Okay, so it is now nighttime, as you can tell from the explosive 4th of July fireworks in the background. Please excuse them. I'm sorry, you guys. I am planning to get started on Mooncakes. This is the book that I'm going to read in the dark, so I have to shut off all the lights. And I will probably, hopefully, get through half of this tonight and then save the rest for tomorrow night or the night after, but it does need to be at night because I need to read it in the dark. Theme music I did not get started on, unfortunately, but tomorrow I will most likely, I have to start this book tomorrow. Tomorrow, me and my husband are planning to go hiking again. Literally last Summerween, we also went hiking one of the days, and that was the day that I got no reading done. So I don't have too much expectations for the amount of reading I will have done tomorrow, but I'm going to try my best to get as much done as I can. And tomorrow I will also update you guys on my thoughts of the first half of Mooncakes, and I will also give you my thoughts on the Fear Street movie because the vibe of that film was so good. So I really do want to talk to you guys about it before we head out to go hiking. I just love that sound, like the sound of like a floppy graphic novel, because the pages are usually like glossy. It's such a nice sound. Okay, so I'm actually going to sign off here because I'm just going to lay in bed, shut the lights, get started on my reading, and probably just like chill before I go to sleep. So nothing exciting. I will see you guys all tomorrow for day 4 of Summerween, and I hope that everybody had a wonderful day today. Bye guys.